Hey guys, this is Sheets, and I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but what I've been doing for most of the sports this year is keeping track of different providers' projections and ownership projections, an attempt to track them and see how close the industry is in general to getting these things right with respect to both median projection to actual results, and also um, ownership projection to actual ownership. And I personally feel that the ownership projections compared to actual ownership is more relevant than the median projection compared to actual results, just because of the way results distribute. But um, I really wanted to do this. I put out a report for basketball and for football. Did I do football yet? I'm not sure. And I did for golf. I do it for golf every week. And I started to do baseball since the beginning of the season. So what I'm going to be doing is um, try to provide regular updates on this to whoever cares. Usual amount of people that care is very small, but I figure I'd throw it out there. So what I do is as late as possible, take a run from various places for their. This is just DraftKings and whatever ownership they put out there. I just put that down and run it through my database. And then also their median projections or whatever they assign, whether it's median or mean or whatever it is. I take the 50th percentile, and that becomes the projection for tracking. And then what I do at the end of the slate or the next morning, I'll download from DraftKings the actual uh, results. And then what I do is I have this grid, which I just compare them, and then I rank them. And to give you an idea of kind of what we're looking at here, this is the projection points. Okay. And what this is it lists just for the top 50% performers, their actual fantasy points over here. And these are the various projections. So, and this is DR Daily Roto. This is RG, the plate IQ. This is the RG bat. This is the SaberSim projections. And this is probably usually the best performer, that being the average projections. Just because of the way the law of large numbers works, this is usually ends up being the best. Um, and then what we do is see how far each was off, right? So if the actual is 53 and DR was 18, then we did it 34. And when RGP was had 18.61, it was off by 35, and we track it this way. And then how much the average was off as well. We're going to get to percent draft in a second. And you could filter this however you want. And then the way we decided to rank these for each day is the average daily difference. And there's just of the top 50%. So on average, these guys, everybody was off by between 7.29, 7.06 points. And then I also do the same thing for ownership. So ownership, same thing. I put the actual ownership is over here. Then each provider's ownership projections over here. There's only one ownership projection for RG. So it's 26%, 26.1, 29, 11, and 22. And then we keep track of how far everybody was off. And the average, how much the average was off as well. And see the average daily distance here. Like to sort of give you an idea of what we're looking at. Like on this particular day, April 9th, if we were going to ask who was the best, right, when it came to ownership projections, it looks like RG was the best. Their average daily difference was 4.28. Actually, the best, of course, was average, 3.97. And then what I do is I keep track historically for all the dates, so we can keep a running total of the average daily difference for all of them. So you can see, so far, results for since the beginning of the year, since April 1st, is when it came to actual projections, the leader so far, and this is actually a statistically significant amount when it comes to a median projection, I think, is SaberSim. Actually, SaberSim, you guys are, Pinter's listening to this. 6.68 compared to everybody else, 7.02, 7.04, even better than the average, which is very rare. And then when it came to actually to ownership projections, SaberSim was the best there as well. Interesting. And what was interesting is that when I did the runs for basketball, like SaberSim was clearly the weakest. To show you that, by the way, this was the NBA, which I haven't kept up with as much, but like NBA historical, you'll see that it was actually Daily Roto, which was the best with ownership projections in the NBA. The thing is, but the NBA is what's harder is that I'm not there all night to get all the updates. So when one guy gets ruled out at 7:45 and the updated ownership projections change, it's just too much work. So where it comes to baseball, it's pretty, doesn't really change that much after the slate starts. So I figured you guys would want to know that. Would want to see what these numbers are like. And I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't use Awesemo for baseball. I don't know why. It just didn't make it into my baseball runs. But that's about it. And everybody keep up the good work.